Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about prepositional phrases. First off, we just need to cover really quickly why do we even need to talk about prepositional phrases and not like noun phrases and verb phrases. Prepositional phrases, when they pop up in sentences, might make other grammar tasks difficult, like subject-verb agreement or pronoun-antecedent agreement. So maybe before you watch those videos, you might want to check this one out, especially if you're struggling with prepositional phrases. So they end up being a little bit tricky, so I'm going to single them out now and tell you a little bit about them. All right. The first part of a prepositional phrase is obviously we need to make sure you still remember what a preposition is. And a preposition is a locator in time and place. And usually the way I always teach this is anything a kitty can do to a tree. All right. The cat can be behind the tree, above the tree, below the tree, under the tree if it's dead is totally a possibility. And that would be some good examples of place. The other side of it that people kind of forget about prepositions is time. So it's a location in terms of the cat and the tree. So the cat can be before the tree or after the tree. Um, uh, the metaphor kind of breaks down at that point. But the idea that any of those words that kind of dignify time, like past or since, are also going to be examples of prepositions. And sometimes I think it's just easier to kind of like pause the video and just burn some of these words into your brain until you kind of see the pattern of what a preposition is. But if you feel like you have prepositions down, go ahead and switch to the next slide. Now we know what a preposition is, and we've done phrases before in previous videos, but just a quick reminder, a phrase is always going to be something that is a dependent clause and cannot stand on its own, and these are a few examples of phrases such as leafy vegetables, in sickness and in health, on one's personality, for a long time, of the gardens. These are all phrases that if someone just came up to you and said them and didn't say anything else, you'd be kind of creeped out. You're like, because if someone just came up to you and was like, for a long time, and you'd be like, wait, what? I don't understand. Okay? So a phrase is an incomplete clause. It's missing either a subject or a verb or both. And so, like I said earlier, it always ends up being a dependent clause. All right? Good. If you still need a reminder of that, we have another video on just phrases and clauses. Go watch that. And if you still need more help with prepositions, we have another video on that as well. So now let's talk about prepositional phrases if we're good on this point. Okay? Prepositional phrase is a phrase that starts with a preposition. So you can see kind of in these examples, at, in, about, and underneath are all prepositional phrases. And what follows is its object. So what was at, the home was. What was in what was in time? Dinner. We need or about. Ooh, that doesn't sound very good. What was underneath? The school, etc. So it's the preposition plus its object. Now, the key here that I think you might want to write down in star and squiggly line underneath is when you see a sentence with a prepositional phrase, you can remove the prepositional phrase and the sentence will still make sense. A prepositional phrase is never key to a sentence. I'm going to say it again. A prepositional phrase is never key to a sentence. You do not need them to make sense. That's one of the easiest ways to find a prepositional phrase is search for the part that you think is the prepositional phrase, remove it, and if it still stands on its own, you were probably right. So let's look at this first sentence. The man behind the curtains is not important. I think the first thing in finding the prepositional phrase is look for the prepositional word in that sentence. Hopefully you noticed it was the word behind. And then what does the behind refer to? It refers to the curtains. So if we were to remove behind the curtains, does the sentence still make sense? The man is not important. Perfect. Good. So what's that behind the curtains doing? It's kind of telling us the location or placement of the man. Where is the man? He's behind the curtains. But it doesn't really matter because he's not that important. Let's try it on the second one too. So let's get rid of that behind the curtains. I haven't seen you since you wet the bed every night. This one's a little bit tougher. Take a second, go back to the previous slide to look for prepositional words if you need the help. But see if you can figure out what can you remove from the sentence and still have it make sense. Okay? The key prepositional word here is since. The first one was location of place. This one is time. So I haven't seen you since, and since is telling you the time, since you wet the bed every night. So if we got rid of that, I haven't seen you, works perfectly as a sentence. That still makes sense. This is just additional information, the since you wet the bed every night. That gives you a sense of how long it's been since that person has seen you. Okay? Are you still with me? Hopefully. This is the last slide. Basically what I want you to do is write down these sentences. There's only 4 of them. And then try and circle the prepositional phrases. Some of these sentences might have more than one prepositional phrase. So first you need to be good at finding those prepositional words, then find the phrases, which is usually whatever words follow after it. And then if you can remove those and the sentence still makes sense, you're in good shape. So go ahead and write these down and then pause the video, and then I'm going to go ahead and start talking a little bit here and tell you what the answers are. Okay, let's take a look at the first one. The book on the bathroom floor is swollen from shower steam. All right, this one has 2 prepositional phrases. You should have seen the word on and the word from. So on the bathroom floor is describing the book, so you remove that. And then from shower steam is describing how the book is swollen. So if we got rid of those 2 phrases, the sentence would read, the book is swollen, period. That's still a sentence, sounds good. We found 2 prepositional phrases. The second one, the sweet potatoes in the vegetable bin are green with mold. Our key prepositional phrase here is in, and the phrase the vegetable bin is the entire prepositional phrase. So if we get rid of that in the vegetable bin, and we have the sweet potatoes are green with mold. Delicious. But yes, that's our second prepositional phrase. Third one, the note from Beverly confessed that she had eaten the leftover pizza. Our prepositional phrase is going to be from Beverly. If we get rid of that, we have the note confessed that she had eaten the leftover pizza. Okay? And finally, the last one, their attempt to hide the alien in the trash bag was unsuccessful. Here we have that word in again. Maybe I should have been more complex with some of my examples, but you know, whatever. We can get rid of in the trash bag, and our sentence would be, their attempt to hide the alien was unsuccessful. All right? Hopefully you did well on that. Hopefully you have a better idea of prepositional phrases. Remember, once again, this is going to be key when you're doing subject-verb agreement, pronoun-antecedent agreement, because prepositional phrases will sometimes trick you. Like, for example, in the sweet potatoes in the vegetable bin, sometimes people will say, the sweet potatoes in the vegetable bin is green with mold, because the vegetable bin is singular, so you would say is here. But if you got rid of this, you realize it's not the vegetable bin that's green with mold, it's the sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes are plural. But more on that on another video, which I know you guys are excited to watch. All right, take it easy.